This is Pachito's Gang, and you are welcome. Today we are looking at the healthcare sector in Nigeria. We know that the mortality rate is it going down or going up? Whichever one you choose. And the body language of the government is that everybody should provide his or her own health, just like you provide your education and any other thing. But again, we have some brain drain. Doctors in 2017, I was told that about 700-800 doctors left for greener pastures somewhere. Is politics ignoring our healthcare challenge? Gentlemen.
Let's look at the statistics, and they speak of gory stories. But apart from the brain drain, life expectancy has consistently been on the decline in the country, well below 40 years, when some more advanced and relatively growing economies are going above 50, 60, and the advanced ones getting to 80. The Abuja Declaration of
Let me just add to that. The African average is 61.
61.
Yeah.
So Nigeria is 54 male and about 57 female.
54 male.
Women live 10 years older than longer than the men.
It's a decline over the years. So
The decline is more pronounced when I see able-bodied men and women that I see in the past 1 year just slumping and dying. Statistics is one thing, but what I experience and see, it's very, very, very gory. And I was going to say that the African Union Declaration of 2001 that pegged the budget for health to be 15%, Nigeria has consistently not just been in decline, in fact has been near rock bottom. And apart from 2012, when the national budget of the country earmarked 6%, over the years it's been serious decline. It was 4.23 in 2016 of the 7.3 trillion national budget for year 2017. 4.16, that was a decline. The 2018 budget went over 8 trillion, yet what has been earmarked for health is a paltry 3.4, a decline. So what has this resulted in? Go to any of our health institutions, what General Sani Abacha called dispensing clinics, which has now become dispensaries, more or less. You don't get equipment, you don't get beds to sleep on. The brain drain that you mentioned, some of the best doctors that you can find anywhere in the world and nurses are outside the shores of our country. And the leadership has not helped in their medical tourism, which has gone southwards. By that I mean our leaders, if they have a cold, they have to fly out, and they stay out for so long, and what have you. And I think the politics and the economics has not helped. The development in that sector has gone relatively down, and it must be stemmed in the tide as we move into the new era of politics. Should be a matter for discourse for all of us.
yeah, I think you're just spot on. We always get what we work for. Things don't just happen. There has been this consistency, a growing penchant for government to ignore the things that matter. And we know that the bedrock for growing any nation, any economy, any society are good investments in health and education. Because it's about the people. And the nation is about people. You can build all the roads in the world, but if you don't have the people who will manage it, and people need to be healthy to do all these things.
Exactly.
So government has consistently failed to put money where it matters most. And even you were just doing the breakdown of the budget allocation to health. If you drill it down, you'll also find out that 75% of the paltry 4.1% that was allocated to health is on recurrent expenditure. Taking care of salaries, overheads, travel, and whatever of some tiny percentage. So there is even not enough for capital expenditure to build hospitals, to equip the ones that exist, to buy drugs. So when you don't do that, the consequence is what we are seeing. An unhealthy nation that is unproductive. And that is why if you look at our GDP, it's not growing.
Yeah.
So it's because people are not healthy. People are not well taken care of. Life expectancy is on the decline. Whereas in economies that are putting in money where money is supposed to be, you see countries that have average life expectancy of 85, 86, 87, and ours is below 50. What does that say? We are putting our monies in the wrong place, and we need to say to ourselves, our politics needs to change. And it comes back to ideology of our political parties. What do these parties, what do they stand for? What are they promising us? So we need to now say to ourselves, we need to hold these people accountable to put our monies into the things that matter most to us. Otherwise, we just keep on floundering, because that's what we are. So the consequences are in people leaving, doctors. Look at our medical schools. My state, where I come from, Imo State, for 4 years, Imo State University Medical College did not have accreditation. So the medical doctors that were being trained couldn't graduate for 4 years. No accreditation for Imo State University Teaching Hospital Medical College. So then how do we then get, even the hospitals you have, how do you even get the doctors to attend to them? Federal Medical Center in Owerri has more medical doctors than the 19 general hospitals in Owerri, in Imo State. One federal government. So from the state to the federal government level, there is some lack of appreciation of the need to have or to place emphasis on the two things that matter for the development of the people, health and education.
I think Charles has hit the nail right on the head. The challenge of healthcare in Nigeria today is a glaring case of lack of understanding of what development is really about by the political class. We the followers of the electorate, are guilty, equally guilty, because we get wrong people to come into office. They get there and they cannot really differentiate between growth and development. Talking of development, people want to look at your healthcare system, you want to look at your education. We're looking at growth, which the politicians are fond of flaunting during electionary campaign. What they talk about is IGR. Last year we earned 60 billion. This year we are earning 70 billion. As
oil prices go up, and
they are concerned,
a little change.
The economy is moving in the right direction. But at the end of the day, what do they do with this fund? That's a critical question. The electorate, the citizens need to take them to task. We find that the money realized by successive governments, irrespective of the party or the state, is more on recurrent expenditure. There is lack of foresight to develop or improve on capital. There is no investment on education, no investment on health. There was a time in this country when most of the government were talking about having free education, supporting education at the primary, basic level, but none of them ever invested or encouraged investment in their state on publishing houses or printing companies that would produce these books. Same thing with health. Between 1979, when we had the second taste of the Second Republic that trickles down up to today, you can't point to any government that encouraged or set up a pharmaceutical company that will produce the basic paracetamol or syrups needed at the primary health centers. But they can spend money.
What makes it sad for me, Rashid, in what you are saying, is that it has not always been like that in our trajectory. I mean, we had teaching hospitals that were state of the art.
From 79, that has been the picture.
We had, University College Hospital that's in the Commonwealth.
It's rated #1.
Virtually everybody in Saudi Arabia came here and wanted to copy. And that decline kept on under our very nose, under our very eyes, basically because of, again, that recurring decimal that we call corruption. Even the budget process, the paltry that we are talking about, once upon not too distant time ago, the Minister for Health had to go defend that budget, and she had to pad that budget to give some things to the legislators. Otherwise, the thing was not going to be approved, and then the thing got busted. And then the paltry one that was eventually approved, equipment that were brought in were some equipment that were not functioning. So it's so bad, because I know medical doctors who are my friends who have told me that, look, we have the brains, but unfortunately we don't have the wherewithal to do this work, and then the best thing for us to do is to go out there. I'm aware that an NGO in Canada has offered, and listen to this, offered that they were going to give first-rate assistance to Nigerian universities. But the feedback that keeps on coming to us is that some nebulous officials are saying, yes, it's going to come, but we must have our own cut of deals and what have you. So what will now, what will that take? So it's so vicious, and we must begin to reorientate ourselves.
You know, they say that if you look deep into yourself, you find out that what you're looking for on the outside is with you. In most of our states, from the colonial masters to the missionaries to the governments of Europe, these structures we are talking about have been there. It's just to sustain them. Let me give you an instance. My state, down the years, Imo State is made up of 27 local government areas. Imo State has over 509 health centers with 19 general hospitals. So you can see the structure already exists. Now what happens? A governor comes into office 7 years ago. Rather than upgrade the quality, maintenance, what needs to be done, do you know what the guy did? He embarked on a grandiose project to build 27 general hospitals. 7 years down the line, not one of them is completed.
In addition to the 17.
He abandoned the 19 that exists and started to build 27 new.
One for each local
he didn't complete them. Then the 19 he crashed. Maybe he didn't maintain them.
Maybe Lagos State is a bit.
So
in terms
the
of
point I'm making.
the
point I'm making is, let us even the challenge and the issue we should be driving now is put pressure on government. What already exists, maintain and upgrade. Because if you maintain what already exists, the quality of healthcare will improve in this country. But this idea of, this is my own project.
We must begin to tell the politicians when they come and they give us stomach structure instead of equipping our
let's hold it there.
We are eating our tomorrow.
Well, let's hold it there
today.
And go to the street to talk to the people in the streets, and then get their feedback on this health challenge and whether our politics is crowding out our health issues and all that.
When the government is seen that way, it will be reduced. We don't want people that are just striving to get there.
Politics has affected and is still affecting the healthcare in Nigeria, in the sense that our government don't actually invest in research, which is very, very pertinent to healthcare, because we have endemic diseases that needs to be researched upon on a regular basis, but we don't have the resources, we don't have the funds, we don't even have the manpower. Our doctors are leaving the country because their values are not being appreciated in Nigeria. So generally, I would say politics has affected the healthcare abysmally.
Yo, welcome back. This is still Patito's Gang, and we're still talking about the health challenges and how politics is affecting health, institution in this country. And before we went on, break to talk to the people on the street, we were talking about, government policies and government effort towards health challenge. It's like the body language of the government is provide your health, provide your education, provide your local government, you know. So, you know, you mentioned, Rashid, about the primary focus should be...
I was going to join and support Akin's submission he was tracking, that Nigeria does not lack ideas how to drive its healthcare program. The challenge we have is that people who don't know by error one way or the other get to office or power, and they just block their ears to sensible advice. More than 35 years ago, Nigeria have been advised, government of Nigeria, both at state and federal level, have been advised that the way the economy was moving south, there was no need to replicate another UCH or LUTH in the polity. We have enough of such facility. What Nigeria needed to do 34, 35 years ago was to place emphasis on development and establishment of primary health care centers. It's at these centers that most of the sicknesses that develop in rural communities have been arrested. Only the one they can't resolve at that level will be now referred to the teaching hospitals. But government will not do it. We have a model of that center. In our work at CVL, we were able to track this issue, and we spoke with the first Nigerian professor of medicine, that's Professor Gulesi, who advocated for this primary health care center, which government will not listen to, and he did all his best to set up a model of that center that Nigeria could look at and replicate across the country. That's primary health center, the first ever in Nigeria, is located at Ibarakpa. Ibarakpa is near Lanlate Satellite Station. That's in Oyo State. It's a rural community in Oyo State, southwest Nigeria. Last year in our work at CVL, we visited Ibarakpa. 2017. Yeah. We visited the Ibarakpa Health Center and we were able to talk to the medical doctors serving at that center and also the community leaders. And they were full of glowing tributes to the initiators of the primary health center.
That vision apparently was not sustained, which is a shame.
They're still running it, but it's not replicated.
Now, Olikoye Ransom Kuti came
to office
to try and expand on that. Where are we on that now? Again,
no movement.
Dead. Okay. Now, the ones that we have said we are going to tinker with policies regarding, health insurance and what have you. Something that happens and is successful in other jurisdictions. Here in Nigeria, my understanding is that so many medical doctors and medical hospitals are being owed billions. And nothing is being done about it. Again, it comes back to the death, of our politics, to the short-sightedness of our policymakers to begin to think of things in the long term. Even the one that was inherited was destroyed. Little attempts to tinker with something is chopped. At the end of the day, what do we have? Brain drain. Our people are dying in thousands and millions. Look at childbirth rate, mortality is gone down.
Let me just say this.
And it's terrible.
When government make budget every year, Charles also mentioned about about 75% goes into recurrent and the health issues. Now, part of that money is supposed to be used to even make sure that whatever is being consumed in our hospitals will be produced or manufactured here.
Okay, the equipment,
have some local content, research and all that. To research on a health issue, what are the things we need, the equipment that we need, see how we can reproduce them here and stuff like that. But let me also add that the first hospital in Nigeria, first ever hospital in Nigeria, was established by the Presbyterian Church in my village. Was that hospital where I was born, and it was established in 1900 or so. It's over 100 years now. Okay, so what happened? Most is being supported till today by the church. 2011, the government tried to intervene, and it almost lost its. We almost lost that hospital. In 2003, a government, a director in one government agency was supposed to go to India for eye treatment. So somebody said to him, why don't you go to this hospital in Uburu, President John's Hospital, Uburu, and see, maybe there will be, the government he had gotten approval about 5 or 10 million naira to go to India as far back as 2003. So the man said, okay, just like the Bible story about Naaman and all that, go and try. Okay, he went. In 2 hours, the eye thing was corrected. And he asked the medical director, said, what can I do for you people here? He said, give us nursing school. And the guy walked in. Nursing school was established, attached to the hospital. Then politics again came, and that hospital, nursing school lost its accreditation, and students were moved out of that place. So it's the current governor now that is trying to bring back that nursing school. Because, you know, with that alone, with that nursing school, people were, I mean, you know, the health, this thing, the school is, the hospital is being run by the Presbyterian Church up to tomorrow, and government decided maybe 20 million per annum. Can you imagine for that big hospital? 20 million. Even the Sardauna or Sokoto then, they used to trek and come to that hospital in the 50s and all that, to be treated in that hospital. Most of the government officials then used to attend
we must give kudos to the missionaries over time since our evolve. Many of the good hospitals that you still see around, still being funded by them. Agreed that the standards have not been as we expect. The plea will be for some of our NGOs or people who I would like to consider well-to-do in our environment to replicate what
some of these things
that we are talking about.
You know, in addition,
and go back to that community-based primary, you know, health care.
He talked about starting a nursing school that they couldn't finish. What is the big deal?
The government encouraged the killing of that nursing school.
The bureaucracy.
Can you imagine?
The corruption is what drives all of this.
The bureaucracy, and the corruption, and the ego. The ego of not wanting to continue what
they should be made to see the consequences of their actions or inactions.
This is one of the ways politics hurts the economy.
Because Nigeria is still one of the countries where mortality rate, child mortality, is high.
Yeah, it's that.
As we speak, we are still talking about this called
deaths from pregnancy.
This called
malaria.
The statistics are just shown also that the AIDS pandemic, which ought to be going down, is beginning to rear its heads again.
Anyway,
so what are we talking about?
Yeah, we gotta go because health challenges, like I said, just prepare your mind, you know, to take care of. First of all, you manage your health. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. And policymakers should be able to avoid politics. You know, we don't play politics with health. You know, and then government is a continuum. Where somebody stopped, the next person should continue from there. Because health is wealth, and it's important. You know, that we realize this. Not running around to overseas on medical tourism and all that. We can attract, you know, tourism to this country via health. Why don't you have a reverse situation? Well, let the debate continue on all the social media handles as you see it on your screen. Join the debate, join the conversation, let it continue. We can't stop talking until we see real change in our health sector. This is Patitos Gang. See you some other time.